train systems application for Caterpillar of Australia. And joining me here today, we have Noel Submandale, who's our load and haul regional product application specialist. Hi, Noel. How are you going?
Hello, Felix. Thank you. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to dial in into our webinar series. Today, we will talk about the CAT 988K XE wheel loader and how it compares to the standard 988K. I'd like to start by going through the basic specifications of the 988K and the 988K XE. So here, both are powered by the same engine, C18. Currently, the XE has a Tier 4 engine, while the 988K is a Tier 3 engine. The engine power, breakout force, the tipping, dump clearance, both are almost similar. XE is around 2,000 kilograms heavy. Therefore, when we compare the 988K and the XE, are both functionally identical.
So knowing more about the 988K XE and how it compares to the current 988K, but can you give us an example of some of the features that are common across both models?
Sure, Felix. So the 988K XE retains the legacy of the 988K design and durability. Still a full box section rear frame to resist torsional shocks and twisting forces. We also enhance its strength in the key pin areas through the use of one-piece castings. It is the same hard digging gear. Customers will continue to expect the rebuildability of major components that drives lower total cost of ownership.
So what you're saying is that we can expect multiple lives out of this 988K XE?
Yes, Felix.
What about parts commonality? Please don't tell me it's less than 10%.
Actually, Felix, it's 90% parts commonality between these two models.
Okay, so that's good news. Good news for our customers. So please tell us more about this wheel loader.
There are several components that are common across the 988K and the XE, like for the axles, the final drives, the engine, as we have mentioned earlier, to name a few. For customers who owns 988K, there is a very high parts commonality of 90% between the two models. And this is also good for our dealers, being able to support common parts inventory.
Yes, correct. Thanks, Noel. So I'd like to learn a little bit more about this 988K XE. What else do you have for us, Noel?
Sure. So the CAT 988K XE is the first wheel loader offered by Caterpillar with a high efficiency electric drive system. This new large wheel loader joins the industry leading 988K and 986K wheel loaders to provide customers with the most cost-effective loader for each application, delivering high production in all loading applications.
So, Noel, you've shown us that we have two models in the same size class. So when should we or when would we recommend the 988K XE and in what applications?
Yes, very good question. That's for clarification. So the 988K XE is recommended for high utilization where fuel efficiency has a larger impact on payback. The 988K XE can replace all 988K applications, such as the truck loading and load and carry applications, where high utilization are expected of over 2,500 hours per year.
So what's new in this 988K XE? Please tell us more.
The 988K XE features switch reluctance technology, or SR for short, and leverages more than 15 years of CAT electric drive experience and more than 4 years of stringent testing in a range of applications for proven reliability in the field.
That's great, but I'd like to understand more about the electric drive technology in this large wheel loader, please.
Yes, that's a good question. These are new to most of us. Here, these are the new components of the 988K XE. Next to the engine is the switch reluctance generator. Then you have the power inverter and the SR electric drive motor. Now, if you noticed, the electrical components are only after the engine and before the drop box gear. Basically, the SR generator, the power inverter, and the SR drive motor replace the torque converter and transmission and the related control valves. So from the drop box, the rest are mechanical system down to the axles, differentials, and final drives. I would like to emphasize that the 988K XE is a diesel electric system, and there is no energy storage system.
So I'd just like to pause here, Noel. So there are new electrical components as you've shown, but can you explain how this system works?
Sure. I will try my best to explain as simple as possible. Okay. So first of all, the SR generator is simple in construction compared to a brushless AC generator. It has fewer moving parts compared to mechanical. So here in an SR generator, there is a rotor and a stator. Now look at the rotor. The rotor of an SR generator has no windings. Simple in construction. Only the stator has the windings where power is generated. The engine drives the rotor of the SR generator that provides electrical power to the powertrain. The SR generator produces a pulse three-phase DC voltage of 715 volts during operation. The generator is cooled using two separate cooling systems. The generator water jacket cooling is provided by the separate circuit cooling system. And the generator rotor is cooled by the powertrain oil that is circulated through the generator.
What about the hydraulic system, Noel? Where is that located?
Yeah, that's a good question, Felix, because in the old system, those are still part of the torque converter area. So we keep the same hydraulic system, and the hydraulic pumps are integrated and driven from the rotor shaft, resulting to seamless hydraulic power. So that is a generator, and let me move to the next component. The power inverter. So from the generator, there are three-phase cables that connect to the power inverter. It is fully sealed, durable solid state, and a semiconductor components. The power inverter contains the power electronic devices that are used to convert the generator three-phase pulse voltage output to 715 volts to the power bus voltage. These voltages will be used to power the drive motor.
So how are these components cooled, Noel?
Yes, Felix. During operations, power electronic components generate heat, just like any electrical or electronic components, like our mobile phones. They generate heat while in use. So the power inverter is cooled by the separate circuit coolant that is circulated through the internal sections of the inverter.
Okay, that's good. So let's move to the electric drive motor, as I'd like to understand how that works.
Sure. So here in the electric drive motor, the motor receives three-phase voltage from the power inverter. So the basic characteristic of this motor is, first is continuous variable speed. The design engineers also devised virtual gears for improved machine controllability. The drive motor also provides dynamic retarding that helps maintain speed on grades. The electric drive motor is a three-phase switch reluctance induction motor. So the motor converts the electrical energy, right? Electrical energy into mechanical energy that drives the powertrain drop box. The speed and direction of the motor determines the speed and direction of travel of the machine.
So you've briefly described the continuously variable speed control and virtual gears, but can you break that down a little for us, please?
Yes, we'll do that, Felix. So here, this chart on the left shows a RIMPUll curve of a power shift 988K. So here you have the RIMPUll. This is your RIMPUll axis. And the speed is on the horizontal axis. Okay. These are your RIMPUll curves. This is your first gear, the second gear, and etc. It is in the first gear that machine generates highest RIMPUll. And that's why in phase digging, operators always set the gear in first to maximize engine torque and RIMPUll.
So am I correct to assume that the RIMPUll speed and gears are typical on all mechanical power shift transmissions?
Yes, that is correct, Felix. Let me show you a typical characteristics of an SR motor RIMPUll curve. So this is what we mean by continuously variable speed from 0 to maximum ground speed. No shifting of gears, and RIMPUll is instantaneous. However, as I have mentioned earlier, our engineers devised the virtual gears to give operators almost the same level of control on the speed, similar to the 988K. So I'll explain to you the virtual gears. So here there is this first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gears. So the operator can still change via this feature. That's why we call it virtual gears. But what you notice here is, regardless of virtual gear position, whether it is on the first, second, or third, or fourth, the machine will always start at the maximum RIMPUll. Yeah, it always starts from the maximum. So this is different from the mechanical. It is only on the first gear that you can maximize your RIMPUll. The second and the third gear and the fourth gear are on the lower side of the RIMPUll. So for me, this is the singular and the biggest advantage of the XE over the 988K and other mechanical hydraulic powertrain. It's superior RIMPUll characteristics resulting to faster acceleration and higher torque. And this explains why the 988K XE outperforms the 988K in truck loading and load and carry applications.
So in summary?
So in summary, the XE delivers the speed and smoothness for more responsiveness and comfortable operations via the single speed range, and the virtual gears for controllability, as well as the automatic retarding controls.
So you mentioned better performance in the XE. So what do we expect the productivity and fuel advantages to be over the current 988K?
So the XE delivers 25% greater overall fuel efficiency, up to 49% fuel efficiency in high production truck loading, and around 10% more productivity in load and carry applications. This is compared to the 988K. This is from extensive studies in various locations and applications.
So I can see that we've got customers online here that probably already have or are thinking of purchasing this machine. So, and I'm aware that we have 88K XEs working in Australia. Are you able to share some performance data with us?
Sure, Felix. We have some good opportunities to observe these machines in Australian applications. So we have seen this customer in the load and carry applications. The results are far better. So this site, they got the 988K and an XE operating in the same pit and charging at the same hopper we were able to capture productivity, the fuel burn, operating hours, idle times data from the telematics and also from CAT productivity, which is fitted to both machines. And these are the results. So between the two machines, they have able to increase around 100 tons per hour. And the production increase is about 18.5 between the K and the XE. Fuel savings is around 24%. On an absolute terms, they are saving around 11.5 liters per hour. And the fuel efficiency, when we do fuel efficiency calculation in terms of tons per liter, that's around 66% in this particular job site.
Wow, that's some decent numbers there, Noel. So I just want to switch gears here now. I'm thinking about electrical safety, Noel. So are you able to explain if we're able to just key off the machine, or is there a process the operator has to follow before they can actually turn this machine off?
Yes, that's a very good question, because this is something new to most of us here, the electric drive component of this machine. So as we mentioned earlier, there is no energy storage system in this machine. The battery that is present in the XE is only for the starting and electrical lightings, same as the 988K. However, since electricity is generated during operations, there are proper procedures during the machine shutdown to ensure the residual voltage in the system are below hazardous level and also bled properly. So to answer your question, Felix, I will describe the high-level steps. However, always refer to the operation and maintenance manual for proper shutdown procedures. So there are only 2 additional steps for operators or technicians that need to check. So after the engine shutdown procedure is completed, confirm the DC power bus voltage that should be less than 50 volts by turning the key to on position, and that would indicate that the system is below hazardous level if this display is below 50 volts. Second step would be to check the hazardous voltage indicator and verify the indicator light is off after the indicator test is completed. So under normal conditions, the hazardous voltage indicator will be illuminated when engine is running, indicating that the DC bus is energized.
Thanks for that, Noel. So for those that are online that do have any questions, please don't hesitate to type them in the area down below. If you scroll your mouse down to show conversation, you'll be able to add some questions there. We'll be more than happy to answer. Noel, what do we expect the overhaul life of the electrical components to be?
Yes, that's another good question, Felix. Again, especially that these are new components in the machine. So I'd like to start from the maintenance side. The transmission oil change interval is increased to 2,000 hours, while the transmission oil is reduced by 40%, since we don't have the torque converter and transmission. We also expect increase in the engine life by 25% due to lower burn rate. The generator, motor, and electrical components are designed for twice the life of the engine. Expected major overhaul of these components will be around 35,000 hours. So during the first engine overhaul, there will be minor repairs such as resealing and rebearings of generator and motors.
Thanks, Noel. Just like to summarize here that we've learned about the 988K XE and how it compares to the current 988K model. You walked us through parts commonality, the electrical components in this model, as well as maintenance and productivity. Just check to see if there's any questions down below. There's none at the moment there. Perhaps while we're waiting for some questions to come through, if you would like more information, then head to cat.com, select your region, select equipment, select wheel loaders, large wheel loaders, and that's where you'll find all the information you need on the 988K XE, or don't hesitate to talk to your local Cat dealer to learn more about the Caterpillar large wheel loader range. Noel, we've got a question on tyre slip prevention. I'm aware that sometimes tyre slip is unavoidable from an operator's perspective. Does this machine have any technology that can help our customers out here?
Yes, that's a good question, because on the mechanical system, you have a RIMPULL control system. Now you don't have the torque converter anymore. So the first level of doing that is we have the torque control. That is standard on the machine, torque control system. On top of that, there's an overlay technology and feature, which is called tire slip prevention. So it's virtually eliminating tire slip in wide range of underfoot conditions. So this features, once it is set by the operator, it works behind the scenes using sensor technologies, the geometry of the linkages, and the load and pressure of the bucket. So combining the 988K XE with the tire slip prevention is the best way to extend tire life in pit loader applications. So this feature will be soon available from factory, and there will be available software flash for machines that is in the field.
Okay, so that's important to know for those customers that already have these machines, that there is a software flash available to retrofit onto your current 988K XE. Great technology there, Noel. Thanks for that. Again, if there are any questions, we're nearly done here, so still got a couple of minutes to go. If you do have any questions, don't hesitate to type them down the bottom of your screen and we'll be more than happy to answer them. Noel, I've got a question on larger buckets on loose material application. So I'm assuming what they're asking is, so for perhaps using quarries as an example, is there an opportunity to go to larger buckets, say, when you're picking up aggregates?
Yes, there is aggregate handler package for large wheel loader, including the XE. So that will allow us to fit bigger buckets for material handling and non-face digging applications. So for the XE, the options are from the 7.6 to 9.6 cubic meter buckets, depending on the material densities.
Excellent, thanks for that. I did see that we had a question from Daryl. Thank you for your question, Daryl. I think we answered that, and the question was, can these machines be remote flashed with these updates? And the answer is yes. Thank you for that question, Daryl. That just about wraps it up, unless anyone's going to type a question there. Hang on, thanks, good on you. No, happy to help, Daryl, at any stage. I think that just about wraps it up, Noel. Let's get to the summary slide, please. Would like to just point out that QR code, if you're running an iPhone, just turn your camera on and you can get whatever updates you want from cat.com just by going to that QR code, or obviously go to your QR code reader and you'll be able to get all the information you need for this large wheel loader. So with that, there's no other questions that come through. I'd like to thank our customers that have taken the time out of their busy day to watch our webinar on 988K XEs. And please look for more similar videos coming in the coming weeks. Thanks to you, Noel. Great job. Angeline, as always, thank you. Good job behind the scenes. And again, thanks to everyone online that have dialed in. Stay safe. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.